Hi there, my name is Tasha Simone. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be stabbing holes through my ears. I haven't pierced myself for a while, but I've decided it's time because I finished my big capstone project for college and I'm like, I'm gonna celebrate with an ear piercing, or two actually, because I want to do my third lobe holes. Most of my piercings I've done myself, so it shouldn't be too much different from what I've done in the past, but this is the first time I'm ever filming it, so that'll be interesting. I've taken out my second lobe holes already because I realized that would be kind of awkward to deal with having in there, but I am leaving my plugs in just to kind of give me some stability for when I'm piercing through. Kind of necessary disclaimer, I don't recommend piercing yourself at home necessarily. I'm not a professional. I just happen to take risks with my own body. I'm going to show you guys how I do it, but I recommend going to a professional because they know what they're doing, and it's possible to injure yourself if you pierce yourself incorrectly. But it can also be entertaining to watch, and I know inevitably there's gonna be some of y'all out there who want to pierce yourselves, because I've been doing that since I was 14. So I get you, girl. I have single-use sterile needles that I get off of Amazon. Also purchased off of Amazon these are Librette studs because I thought I was gonna redo my snake bites at one point, but decided not to. But they're gonna work really well because they're very secure rather than having like a pull-off backing. It screws on from the front, so that'll be a lot more secure in the healing process. And it has a flat back, which is nice, so it doesn't like poke in if I'm sleeping on my side. I also have alcohol, prep pads, and gloves, and I've kind of prepared a semi-sterile surface area here with just like some clean paper towels. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe down my hands with an alcohol pad to make sure that they're sterile, and then I'm gonna put gloves on top. You know, nurses do this, it's not insane. You could also use like hand sanitizer, but I don't feel like smelling like pumpkin right now, and that's the only hand sanitizer I have. And I'm gonna be using a eyebrow pencil to mark out my ear locations. Also, I'm gonna prep that area first with alcohol so it's clean and I don't have to then wipe off the mark, because then that defeats the purpose of having a mark. So alcohol, prep pad. Usually I recommend to myself to pierce with a hollow single-use needle a size up from, okay, I don't like that marking. This is gonna be a tricky spot for me to get to because where my second lobes are kind of like where a third one would go, kind of gets into that crease, and I don't really want it to be in the crease, but I do want it to be on the lobe. Ooh, I think that's a good spot. You can kind of see it there. I usually recommend piercing with a size up from the jewelry size as far as like needle gauge. Okay, that's not even. But in my case, I'm gonna try using, despite using 16 gauge jewelry, I'm gonna try using a 16 gauge needle. I think that'll work too. That's cute. That looks pretty even to me, because a 16 gauge needle should hurt a little less than a 14 gauge. And normally most ear piercings are like 20 or 18. I just happen to be using like body jewelry type stuff, so it's a bit thicker, which is why I'm gonna need a higher gauge needle. But never fear, it'll, well, not higher gauge type, it's a lower number, whatever. It's gonna work. So I've also sterilized or wiped down with alcohol swabs the piercings that I'm going to be using. Gloves on. Sterile. I'm going to put the needle through, and then since they're flat backed, I'm going to then put the jewelry in the tip of the needle and slide it back out through my ear. Not highly recommended because it's really best to kind of go all through one direction, but because of the way my jewelry is, this is what I'm gonna do. I've done it in the past and it works. So, undoing my single-use needle. Also going to use the cap of the eyebrow pencil that I used as a kind of like receiving tube, which just means that like I won't have to have my fingers there to poke it. I'm making sure that my faux receiving tube is lined up behind pretty decently. I can kind of like feel the edges of it by poking through, and then line it up. And oh gosh, this is nerve-wracking. Why am I doing this? Just do it in one fell swoop. It's fine. Okay, so needle is through the ear. Really recommend breathing. It's helpful. That hurt. So now I'm trying to kind of seat the piercing into the needle to slide it back through, but I'm also doing this blind, so it's kind of difficult. I might need to have my roommate help me. Roommate, can you help? I got the needle through, but I need to like feed the jewelry back through, and since I can't see it, it's difficult.
Yeah. Let me go wash my hands.
Okay. Shoot. The needle is out and jewelry is not in.
No. Yep. Partially. Let me see what I can do. Nope. Nope, we just have a lot of blood dripping. Lots of dripping.
Oh.
I don't think
There's
so.
too much blood. Okay. Okay. So that was a fail.
Yeah, let's try something new. Do you have smaller?
I have smaller jewelry. I knew this might not be the best idea, because if I had just done it this way from the beginning, it'd be fine. We're just gonna try again later with that one.
Well, thank you for reminding me why I don't want to be a doctor.
Like, I feel like I could just go for it again.
I would wait a moment and let it.
Like, it all already hurts anyway. Okay, plan B, because that attempt didn't go so well. I'm not gonna be piercing through and then pulling back the needle because it's just not gonna go well. I'm gonna be using these little studs. So I have new gloves. My ears are still already marked, although this one's marked with blood from where I just attempted to pierce it. So I'm gonna let that rest for a little bit. New single-use needle, still using 16 gauge needle, but this time it's gonna be an 18 gauge piercing, so I can just pull it all the way back through. Checking that the quote-unquote receiving tube is in a good spot. And 1, 2, 3. Oof. Boy, that hurt. And now it's gonna be a lot easier because I can just stick the piercing, which I did clean with alcohol. And so it just sits in there nicely. And breathe out again to push it all the way through. Put the back on, which I also sterilized. Ta-da! It's not exactly in the spot I was hoping for, but it's cute. I think it works. And it's gonna bleed a little bit. Perfectly normal. See, that went a lot smoother. So because of the scale of the piercings, because the stud is like so much larger than a little Librate ball, I think it looks a little funky. So when it's healed, I'll replace it with a smaller piercing. Now to redo the other side. I've gone through so many needles. I mean, this is needle number 3 for piercing 2, so I guess it's not too bad. 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh. Nope, that did not go right. Yeah, that didn't go straight through. So we're gonna retry that. My poor left ear, honestly. I've now pierced this ear 3 times and none of them have been good. See, that's the challenge of piercing yourself, is doesn't always turn out great. But you know what? We're trying it. I mean, it kind of ended up in the same spot as the other side. So I guess I can't be too mad, but ow. That hurt. It's pierced. Both of them. Hey, my hair is suddenly different. It's been 7 weeks since I did that, and so my piercings are healed up, and I got different jewelry in them, and this one ended up lining itself up better, which is very nice. And I think they look really cute. Turned out okay, even though this one was, no, it was this one that was pierced like 3 times. That hurt, but ended up all being alright. So cute. Yeah, if you like this video, I'm gonna be posting another one soon about piercing my second nostril. And if you want to see more, like and subscribe, and you know all the things to do. You've been on YouTube before. Bye, guys.